When it comes down to climbing ranks the fastest, you really want to limit the amount of champions you play and hone in on mastering a select few picks. Even better if you can find a champion to one-trick, which is what we'll be helping you out with in today's video. We'll be covering 3 super strong one-trick champions for each role, picked out by using 2 main pieces of criteria. Low ban rate, more specifically a ban rate under 10%, is vital, as trying to one-trick strong meta champs like Blitz or Rek'Sai with ban rates over 30% just isn't very practical right now. Low ban rate combined with the champs being strong in meta were what we leaned on the most when selecting the picks. Now, just before we get into the video, if you want to improve fast and get the rank you've always wanted, then go to skillcapped.com. Stop wasting your time grinding thousands of games only to see no progress. With Skillcapped, you'll uncover the secrets to climbing ranks fast that only takes a few minutes to learn and can be immediately applied into your next game. The best part is that it's completely risk-free to try, as you're kept safe with our rank up insurance. If you don't significantly improve while actively using Skillcapped, then you get your money back, no questions asked. So what are you waiting for? Get the rank you've always wanted by clicking the link in the description below. Alright, now back to breaking down the best one-trick champs, starting with top lane. Top lane is the role most would argue is more heavily influenced by counter picks, and one champion who absolutely smashes many of the meta picks is Poppy. Poppy holds a ban rate of just 3%, but she's incredibly strong against so many of the highly contested top laners. Currently, Jax, Aatrox, and K'Sante are the most played top laners in solo queue, and Poppy has a 53% win rate against all 3. Poppy W does an amazing job at hard countering these top laners with dashes, and we are seeing so many of them in meta right now. Poppy fits our criteria perfectly as a low ban rate champ who's great in meta, and she's very unlikely to be nerfed in the coming patches, so one-tricking her is a solid option. The build you'll want to run is a Divine Sundra Rush into Sunfire Aegis 2nd and Force of Nature or Thornmail 3rd. Pick up Grasp for the Keystone with Shield Bash, Bone Plating, and Revitalize. Biscuits and Time Warp Tonic are great for secondaries. A top laner with one of the strongest early games, which makes him extremely rewarding to one-trick, is Olaf. Learning your limits on Olaf and understanding matchups can make this champ the best one-trick pick in the entire game. Ban rate of Olaf is just 3%, but it should be much higher than that for how powerful he is. Olaf thrives the most when he can keep the wave on his side of the lane, so he can run the enemy down when they misstep. Ensuring you have the fundamental knowledge of wave control down is key when playing Olaf, so our Master in Minutes course on wave control is a great resource to help you out with that. Especially in the lower ranks, players will waste spells on the wave, and if you got room to run them down, you can easily punish them by popping Ghost and going all in. The core build to run on Olaf is a Ravenous Hydra Rush into Stridebreaker 2nd and Death's Dance 3rd. Conqueror is the optimal Keystone rune with Triumph, Alacrity, and Last Stand. Run Biscuits and Approach Velocity for secondaries. A champion that requires much less matchup knowledge in order to see great results with, and the best tank to one-trick right now, is Ornn. Ban rate is just 1%, so you never have to worry about Ornn being banned. Coming out ahead in lane isn't as vital on Ornn as it is on Olaf, so as long as you can get a grasp of your combos and basic trading patterns, the power of Ornn's kit will be enough to provide you incredible impact. Team fighting is really where Ornn shines anyways, and he has one of the best engaged tools in the entire game. Being map aware and capitalizing on opportunities when the enemies are split up is where you will get the most mileage out of Ornn. If you're someone who likes the macro side of League more so than the micro, then siding with a champ like Ornn instead of Olaf is a great idea. The standard build for Ornn is a Jak'Sho Rush into Sunfire Aegis 2nd and Thornmail 3rd. Grasp is the Keystone rune with Demolish, Second Wind, and Overgrowth, followed by Freeboots and Biscuits for secondaries. Jungle meta has seen a big shift over the past patch, and one champ who is suddenly insanely strong to one-trick is Ivern. Ivern is without question one of the top tier solo queue junglers, but he's only being banned in 4% of games, which is very surprising. Ban priority in the jungle is much higher on Rek'Sai and Kindred right now, which leaves Ivern as the best one-trick option out of the 3. If you're hesitant to pick up Ivern because you feel he lacks damage and raw carry power, then you might want to think again. Our challenger jungler Japanese import points out that this is a common misconception about Ivern in his recent full game commentary, which can be found on our website. The recent buffs to Daisy have significantly increased Ivern's DPS, and at level 6, he has one of the best skirmishes for any jungler. Core build for Ivern consists of an Echoes of Helia or Shirelia's Rush into Imperial Mandate 2nd and Ardent Censer 3rd. For the rune page, run Airy with Nimbus Cloak, Transcendence, and Water Walking. Best secondaries are Eyeball Collection and Relentless Hunter. With so many other junglers taking ban priority this patch, it's allowed Evelynn to sneak into a really good one-trick position. Just a few patches back, Evelynn's ban rate was all the way up over 13%, but it's been sliced more than half, sitting at the 6% mark in 13.12. This drop in ban rate has nothing to do with Evelynn's solo queue power though, as she's still just as good now as she was back then. I don't know if it's just me, but whenever I run into an Evelynn one-trick in solo queue, they make the champ seem like the most broken thing in existence and hard carry every single game. If you can utilize Evelynn's stealth to its potential, there's very little counterplay for the enemy team, and especially in the lower ranks where things are much less coordinated, you can find catch plays left, right, and center. The build for Evelynn consists of a Rocket Belt Rush into Magi's 2nd and Rabadon's 3rd. Run Electrocute for the Keystone rune with Sudden Impact, Eyeball Collection, and Relentless Hunter. Optimal secondaries are Absolute Focus and Gathering Storm. This champion's ban rate continues to drop patch after patch, but his power remains the same as Jarvan rounds out the top 3. Jarvan's ban rate is now just 3%, which is pretty crazy considering it was around 20% a few patches back. Jarvan was not nerfed though at all, and his ban rate has only dropped due to picks like Rek'Sai, Kha'Zix, and Kindred taking up the majority share. Despite Rek'Sai being an incredibly powerful pick in meta, if you like that early ganking style of play, then having Jarvan in your back pocket for when Rek'Sai is inevitably banned is a great idea. The catch range of Jarvan is what makes him so powerful in the right hands, as you can pick enemies off in an instant if they move up too far. If you can get your laners ahead by capitalizing on Jarvan's gank power and then transitioning that into grouping and finding picks, closing out games can be incredibly easy on Jarvan. Build to run as a Gore Drinker Rush into Black Cleaver 2nd and Death's Dance or Maw 3rd. For runes, roll with Conqueror followed by Triumph, Alacrity, and Coup de Grace. Best secondaries are Freeboots and Cosmic Insight. Mid lane has a ton of really good one-trick options right now, and our first selection is Pantheon. Ban rate is just 3%, so at a very nice one-trick level. Playing into melee mids as Pantheon is as close to a free win as you're going to get, so if you can smash those games and then go even in lanes where you're against ranged champs, over time you're going to find incredible success on Pantheon and solo queue. Panth is quite easy to pick up and get the hang of fairly quickly, so if you don't want to spend a massive amount of time learning a new champ, it makes him an even better option. The map impact at level 6 allows you to apply perma pressure and rewards you a ton for getting an early game lead and acquiring priority. The early game skirmish of Panth, due to his point and click stun, is insanely strong too, so it pays off big time for having the first move and being aware of what's happening on the map. Core build for Pantheon is an Eclipse Rush into Black Cleaver 2nd and Spear of Shojin 3rd. Grab press the attack for the Keystone Rune with Triumph, Tenacity, and Coup de Grace. Sudden Impact and Treasure Hunter are the way to go for secondaries. Another champ we rate very highly for mid lane as one of the best one-trick options is Vex. Vex has a slightly higher ban rate than Pantheon, sitting at 4%. Just like Pantheon, Vex absolutely dismantles the melee mid lane champs that are played so often in solo queue. Playing into Sylas, Yone, Katarina, or LeBlanc are incredibly free for Vex once you have the basics of the champion down. You really want to be abusing the Fog of War as much as possible on Vex to get the most out of her pick power from R. The spell is very difficult to dodge if the enemy does not see where it's coming from, so it's key that you're constantly trying to find pockets where the enemy does not have vision of you. The build for Vex is Luden's Rush into Shadowflame 2nd and Zanya's or Rabadon's 3rd. Pick up Electrocute with Taste of Blood, Eyeball Collection, and Ultimate Hunter for primary runes. Mana Flow and Transcendence are the best secondaries. Just buffed in 13.12, and now one of the best mages that you can one-trick for solo queue is Orianna. Ban rate of Orianna is unfathomably low, sitting at around 0.5%, so if she's banned at all in your games, you are super unlucky. Compared to most mages, Orianna can actually hold her ground very well against mobile assassins, as her early poke power and shield can really limit what they can get done. Once you get the hang of Ori, her laning phase can be quite strong, and if you can CS well, it's going to set you up very nicely to hard carry those mid-game team fights. Ball movement is something very unique to Orianna, and it's not super easy to grasp right away, but once you got it down, the zone power Ori possesses is some of the best for any mage. Just placing your ball in a choke point when you have 3 items will deter any squishy champ from walking by. Multi-man Rs can single-handedly win you games with Orianna, and it's one of the most satisfying spells to land. Build to run an Orianna consists of a Luden's or Liandry's Rush into Archangel's 2nd and Rabadon's or Zanya's 3rd. Aerie and Phase Rush are both viable keystones on Ori. To keep it really simple, playing into mobile melee champs is where Phase Rush will be most valuable, while Aerie will work best into ranged matchups. Bot lane meta has been a roller coaster the past few patches, but one champ who's been consistently viable to one-trick is Nilah. Of all ADCs, Nilah seems to always remain in a good spot for solo queue, but she's never picked very much and not banned often either. Just a 2% ban rate right now, which makes her very accessible. The solo playmaking potential is insanely good with Nilah, especially once you got level 6. You don't have to solely rely on your support to start the engage, as Nilah diving in with her ultimate is a great engage tool in itself. The fact Nilah is very rarely picked in solo queue means the enemy has not had a ton of experience playing against it, so if you can really master a champ like Nilah, it gives you such a huge advantage. The standard build to run right now is a Gale Force Rush into the Collector 2nd and Immortal Shield Bow 3rd. Conqueror is the best keystone rune with Triumph, Bloodline, and Last Stand. Grab Sudden Impact and Treasure Hunter for secondaries. If Misfortune is not at the very least in your champion pool for 13.12, then you're missing out on easy elo. MF is a phenomenal ADC to one-trick right now due to meta champs from recent patches like Zeri and Kog being hit with nerfs. Ban rate of MF varies depending on the elo, but an average for all ranks puts it at just 2%. With the best build in meta right now being Lethality, it makes it even easier to find success on MF. Abilities deal so much damage that you could be playing with your toes and still out-impact the enemy ADC on a mechanical pick like Vayne. There's actually 2 really strong options for Misfortune's mythic item, as Ghostblade and Duskblade are viable. Both have their perks, however Duskblade does have the higher win rate in 13.12. Into more skill shot reliant comps, the move movement speed from Ghost Blade is going to be more valuable, whereas into point and click burst, the invulnerability from Dusk Blade is a great play. You're going to be making a ton of money with these multi-man ults, as First Strike is the best Keystone rune. The buffs this patch have turned out very impactful for Ashe, and she's a top 3 one-trick choice for ADC. Ban rate is just 2%, so there's rarely a worry about the champ being banned. Ashe was already quite sleeper before the buffs with a Trinity Force build, and it's become low-key broken in 13.12. You can rush Trinity Force, go into Kraken Slayer second, and then pick up Hurricane third. With Enchanters becoming weaker this patch, it indirectly gives more power to Ashe as well, since she would much rather play with a melee engaged support. We're seeing way more Thresh, Nott, and Blitz being picked in solo queue, and at level 6, the all-in power with those supports is insane. Overall, lots of positives shifting in Ashe's favor in 13.12, so she's a really good champ to one-trick. The rune page you'll want to run is Lethal Tempo with Presence of Mind, Bloodline, and Coup de Grace. Run Biscuits and Approach Velocity for secondaries. You need to start spamming Rell before everyone catches on to how powerful she really is. Ban rate is just 2% at the time of making this video, but it's most definitely going to be climbing throughout the patch. The nerfs have not brought Rell's power down much at all, and she fits in even better for 13.12 with how the rest of the support meta has shifted. Rell has always been a phenomenal answer to other melee supports like Nautilus, Rakan, and Blitz, so with their play rate spiking, it's given Rell even more strength. With high mobility dive champions being played so much in solo queue as well, Rell's kit does the perfect job at shutting them down. The lockdown from all of Rell's CC abilities makes it nearly impossible for enemies to reach her carries as long as she's nearby. Build for Rell is an Even Shroud Rush into Zeke second and Knight's Vow third, run with Glacial as the keystone, followed by Hex Flash, Dematerializer, and Cosmic Insight. Optimal secondaries are Bone Plating and Unflinching. Back on the list for a second patch in a row, and an even better one-trick option now is Thresh. Thresh is loving 13.12, just like many other melee supports, with enchanters being battered down with nerfs. Ban rate of the champ is sitting at 6%, so a little higher than most in this video, but still low enough to make the cut. Thresh is one of the most skill-expressive champions in the game, and he rarely falls into a state where he's unplayable for solo queue. This makes him a very safe one-trick choice, because you know the more time you'll spend, the more you'll get out of him without having to worry about Riot dropping the nerf back. Build for Thresh consists of a Shurelya's or Locket Rush into Zeke second and Knight's Vow third. Glacial is the best keystone rune with Hex Flash, Biscuits, and Cosmic Insight, followed by Bone Plating and Unflinching for secondaries. It's all playmaking supports in the top 3 for this patch as Rakan rounds out the list. Rakan has been one of the most consistently strong support carries over the past few months, and he's even better in 13.12. Ban rate of Rakan is sitting at a measly 2%, so he's extremely accessible. With the Lucian-Nami duo being obliterated by nerfs this patch, it leaves the Rakan-Xayah duo as that premier combo. Once you get the hang of Rakan and understand the limits to your engage plays, the champ is one of the best playmakers there are. There's really no support with as much reliable engage strength as Rakan. It can be a little intimidating at first, having all this control over how fights start, but it's so rewarding and allows you to punish mispositioning better than most supports. The core build for Rakan is a Shurelya's Rush into Zeke second and Redemption third. Roll with Guardian as the keystone rune, followed by Font of Life, Bone Plating, and Unflinching. Zombie Ward and Ultimate Hunter are for secondaries. So that wraps up the best one tricks for 13.12, but if you want to improve fast and get the rank you've always wanted, then go to Skillcapped.com. With premium courses for every role and skill taught by the best players, Skillcapped is the perfect platform to help take your game to the next level. Take our Wave Control course. While you wait for your next game to start, you can learn freezing, fast pushing, slow pushing, bouncing waves, the list goes on, all in just a few minutes to maximize your improvement rate. Or maybe you just like seeing your opponent's health go to 0, then you'll love our trading course. We even have a skill test at the end so you can see how good you really are. Players just like you are leaving 5-star reviews and raving at how helpful they are. That's not all we offer though, as every week we release 10 brand new Smurf commentaries where a challenger player teaches you how to climb out of the exact rank you're stuck in. If you're looking for something more personal instead, then we got you covered with one-on-one coaching from our trained challenger experts. All this seem too good to be true? Well, don't worry, we're backed by a rank up guarantee. If you don't significantly improve while actively using Skillcapped, then you get your money back, no questions asked. So what are you waiting for? Click the link in the description below and get the rank you've always wanted. Until next time, thanks so much for watching and good luck in solo queue.